Discover how a barista's touching act in 6 languages changed the life of a hidden billionaire. In the heart of downtown Chicago, Emma stood behind the counter of Brewed Awakenings, her bustling café, a sanctuary of hot coffee and lively conversations amid the chaos of the city. Each day, she awoke to the sunlight streaming through her modest apartment, determination fueling her every move. With a lively 5-year-old son named Noah in tow, she poured her heart into every cup of coffee, every smile shared with customers, hoping to create a better life for them both. On this particularly hectic morning, with the steam curling in the air and the aroma of freshly brewed coffee swirling around her, Emma spotted Mr. Thompson. The elderly gentleman always occupied his corner seat, sipping coffee as the world rushed by. As Emma served her lattes with a perfect swirl, she overheard him chatting with patrons in 6 different languages: French, Spanish, Mandarin, Arabic, German, and, of course, English. Each word seemed to flutter around him like butterflies, a rich tapestry woven of experiences and stories left untold. Curiosity sparked within Emma. She saw beyond his unassuming exterior, sensing a deep well of wisdom and resilience roused from years of overcoming life's challenges. Wanting to reach out to him, Emma began greeting Mr. Thompson in every language she could remember, a simple bonjour here, a hola there. His eyes twinkled at her attempts, as their casual exchanges unfolded into a warm friendship colored with laughter and understanding. Yet, as this connection grew, Emma's reality shadowed the light of their budding companionship. She came face to face with a daunting financial challenge. Her rent was due soon, and her shifts were barely scraping by. Pride held her tight, the thought of asking for help felt close to impossible. In those moments, she caught Mr. Thompson watching her with concern, the wealth he held obscured beneath a layer of grief. A billionaire who felt like an outsider, he had lost his wife years ago and, despite his riches, craved connection. Conflict simmered beneath the café's vibrant surface as Emma's struggle began to infiltrate her spirit. Mr. Thompson wrestled with the idea of helping her, torn between wanting to shield this hard-working mother and the fear of shattering her pride. The café buzzed around them, a backdrop to their contrasting lives that hummed with societal whispers of worth and dignity. Just then, Emma's resilience glimmered brighter than before. During a quiet moment, she declined his subtle offer of financial support, a hidden hand reaching out just beneath the table. Instead, she boldly suggested they create a community outreach program for struggling families. It was a moment that shook both their worlds, forcing them to confront not just their differing backgrounds, but also their vulnerability. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. In that moment of raw honesty, Emma and Mr. Thompson stood at a crossroads, each grappling with what it meant to be truly valuable in a world obsessed with wealth. Hope flickered amid tension, as decisions loomed ahead for both of them. Just as Emma received an unexpected call from her estranged parents, a poignant reminder of family's strength, Mr. Thompson mulled over sharing his true identity and reconnecting with the community he'd distanced himself from. The air crackled with the unspoken words of what-ifs, leaving both characters yearning for resolution, their destinies intertwined in a vibrant tapestry of human connection. With the aroma of coffee still lingering in the air, Emma felt a rush of anxiety gripping her chest as she stared at her phone. The call from her estranged parents echoed in her mind, a stark contrast to the warmth surrounding her in the café. Would they even care about her as a single mother, struggling to make ends meet? Would they judge her? Across the café, Mr. Thompson watched her, his brows knitted in concern. He sensed the weight of her worries, the flicker of doubt shadowing her normally bright smile. In that moment, he realized how deeply affected by life's trials they both were, despite their disparate worlds. Emma. He spoke softly, breaking the spell of silence that enveloped them. Is everything all right? Swallowing hard, she managed a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Just family stuff, she replied, waving her hand dismissively, as if brushing away dust. But Mr. Thompson knew better. He could see the storm behind her calm facade that he hesitated for a moment, contemplating how to breach her defenses. "You know, sharing burdens often lightens the load," he offered gently. "If you ever want to talk, no, really, it's fine," Emma interrupted, but this time, her voice wavered. There was a flicker of vulnerability in her eyes, just enough for Mr. Thompson to catch it. "Sometimes, letting someone in can be a strength, not a weakness," he encouraged, his voice steadied as a silence fell between them, charged with unspoken revelations. Emma felt her heart race as she battled her instinct to retreat. The memory of his generosity, the unexpressed offers he'd made, propelled her to take a leap of faith. What if we worked on that community outreach program together?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The idea, born of desperation, felt alive in the atmosphere, cradled softly between them. A spark ignited in Mr. Thompson's eyes. "You truly want that? I mean, our backgrounds, your experience could make a huge difference," she interrupted again, her own excitement beginning to rise, drowning out her fears. "We can help so many families like mine." Tension melted away, replaced by a fragile hope, as they both began brainstorming ideas. They spoke of after-school programs, free meals for children, resources for struggling parents, their visions intertwining and growing ever bigger. In the hustle of their shared passion, Emma felt something shift within her. Meanwhile, Mr. Thompson began to feel his own walls crumble. Here was someone willing not just to see him, but to accept him for who he was beyond his wealth. For the first time in years, he felt connected, a flicker of brighter days ahead. As they sketched their plans on napkins, Emma caught sight of Noah playing with a group of children outside. A pang of longing coursed through her. She wanted so much for him. She turned back to Mr. Thompson, her resolve strengthening. "We'll launch this outreach, I know it can help us all," she said with sparkling determination lighting her features. Just then, the cafe door swung open, and in walked a figure from Emma's past her parents, scanning the room with a mixture of surprise and uncertainty etched across their faces. Could their unexpected arrival change everything? Would this confrontation shatter her newfound resolve or fuel her drive to create the outreach initiative? As Emma stood, heart racing with both hope and apprehension, she realized this moment could define the connection they were building, or threaten to undo it. The question hung heavy in the air: what would happen when their worlds collided? Emma's breath hitched as she took in the sight of her parents. For a moment, the world around her blurred, the clatter of cups and the low hum of conversation fading into the background. Her father's familiar posture, rigid and commanding, set off a wave of memories both painful and etched with longing. Her mother, with a nervous clasp of her hands, seemed caught between hope and regret, her eyes darting around the cafe as if searching for a lifeline. Mr. Thompson, sensing the shift, turned his gaze toward the entrance, his brows knitting together once again. He stayed silent, but his steady presence was a grounding force beside her. Emma couldn't shake the growing pit in her stomach as her parents approached. "Emma?" Her mother's voice broke through the noise, laced with uncertainty. She took a tentative step forward. "We didn't know why are you here?" Emma's voice came out sharper than she intended, her anxiety spilling over like a boiling pot. Her mother blinked, taken aback. "We wanted to see you, after what you said on the phone. We were worried." "Worried?" Emma swallowed hard, anger and fear wrestling within her. "You were worried when you decided to cut me off." The tension was palpable. Mr. Thompson shifted slightly, speaking softly, "Maybe there's more that can be said." His voice was calm, yet Emma could feel the weight of a choice resting heavily on her. "Emma," her father interrupted, stepping into the conversation, the familiar authoritative tone sending a shiver down her spine. "This is not the place for this discussion. Just listen to us." The room felt stifling. A couple at a nearby table glanced over, their quiet conversations halting as they turned to witness the unfolding drama. Emma's cheeks burned. This was not how she envisioned her day, not while she was finally daring to believe in something better, something more meaningful. "No," she said, shaking her head, her voice trembling. "This is my life, my choice. You don't get to dictate how I live it anymore." Her parents exchanged glances, confusion mixed with anger reflected on their faces. Emma's heart raced. She thought about Noah, about how she wanted him to see strength over fear, to learn that family could be chosen, not just born into. "What if we could work together?" Mr. Thompson stepped in, his clear blue eyes shifting from Emma to her parents, offering a lifeline. A community initiative might be a start. It could allow for reconciliation. Emma's heart pounded at the thought. This was not just about her, it was about a chance to foster growth for her son, for herself, and maybe, just maybe, for her parents too. "That sounds," her father began, and Emma felt a flicker of hope. "Ridiculous," her mother interjected, arms crossing defensively. "You can't just sweep everything under the rug and act like it never happened." Emma's resilience surged forward. "Maybe it's about time we stopped avoiding the hard conversations," she declared, her voice gaining strength. "This outreach program could be a way to help others, but only if we are all willing to step into the light instead of hiding in the shadows." The silence that followed felt heavy, each of them grappling with the reality of the moment. She looked at Mr. Thompson, who nodded encouragingly, and then back at her parents, their faces a mix of disbelief and confrontation. "Think about it," he added carefully. "You could help people together. A fresh start." Emma held her breath. Would they embrace this chance, this challenge? Would their family be willing to break down their walls and rebuild something new? Then came a glimmer of doubt. What if this moment turned tragic? What if her parents couldn't change? The café seemed to hold its breath along with her. The path ahead was uncertain, wrapped in swirling emotions and expectations. As her parents stared at her, Emma felt the unmistakable shift of impending change in the air. What would they choose? Would they allow her to take the lead, or would they retreat once again into their old patterns, shutting her out all over? The answer hung in the air, electric with possibility. The silence stretched too long, but Emma didn't dare break it. Her parents glanced at each other, faces a mix of anger, confusion, and a flicker of realization. Emma's heart raced. This was the moment where everything could change or shatter completely. "Emma!" Her father snapped, his voice shaking with a mix of fury and hurt. "You think we can just waltz in here after how you left? You think we can fix everything with a few meetings?" The loudness of his tone shattered the atmosphere, drawing more eyes from the other tables. Emma felt heat crawl up her neck, but she held her ground. "Is that what this is about for you, fixing things?" She shot back. "You can't just be here when it's convenient for you. I'm not a project to fix. I want you to understand me, to even try to learn about who I've become." Her mother's shoulders sagged as she stepped forward, voice trembling. "Emma, we never stopped loving you. We didn't know how to deal with everything you were going through. We were scared." The admission hung in the air, naked and full of vulnerability. Scared of what? Emma searched her mother's face, desire struggling against disdain. "Scared I wouldn't follow the path you laid out." A couple sipped their coffee nearby, wide-eyed at the unfolding scene. Mr. Thompson placed a steady hand on Emma's shoulder, silently urging her to stay calm, to continue. She took a deep breath, feeling the heat of confrontation and the softness of compassion swirling inside her. "This isn't about blame," she said softly, meeting her mother's gaze. "It's about understanding. You've been so set on your way that you forgot who I am. I had to fight to find my own path, and maybe it's about time you try to see it too." Her father turned away for a moment, gazing out the cafe window. The street outside was lively, filled with people and bright autumn colors. He looked older in that moment, burdened by the weight of unspoken feelings. "And what if we fail?" he whispered, as if the idea terrified him. "What if we can't do it?" "Then we'll fail together," Emma replied. "But it's worth trying, right? For me, for Noah, for all of us." Tension eased slightly, the weight of the past feeling a touch lighter in the air. Her father turned back to face her, vulnerability starting to replace the hardness in his eyes. He began but faltered, the words hesitant. Emma clenched her fists, the hope she felt before flickering uncertainly. Would he really step forward, or retreat again into that familiar silence that had haunted their family for years? Then her mother stepped closer, her eyes glimmering with unshed tears. "We don't want to lose you again, Emma. We'll try. We want to try." But Emma hesitated, sensing the tentative nature of this monumental change. "Are you ready for everything that comes with that? The messy discussions, the confronting truths?" Her parents exchanged glances, silently weighing their commitment against the deep-rooted fears that had defined their relationship for so long. And in that quiet exchange, Emma understood that this was a journey they would have to traverse together step by vulnerable step. "Okay, let us start here," her father finally said, his voice steadier than before. "Perhaps this program could give us the push we need." A glimmer of hope burst in Emma's chest. This could really lead to something. Her resolve strengthened. A chance to build bridges instead of walls. Together, Emma confirmed, meeting their gaze. One step at a time. As she smiled, a warmth enveloped her, but it was overshadowed by a question lingering in her mind. Would they truly hold on? Was this fragile understanding strong enough to withstand the storms that had previously torn them apart? The café hummed around them, but within Emma, the silence echoed with the possibilities ahead, a tentative but real chance for redemption. Would they grasp this opportunity, or would fear grip them once more? Emma felt a flicker of warmth as her father's expression softened, but deep in her gut, uncertainty tightened. This wasn't just about words spoken, it was the commitment that would follow that would truly define their next steps. The café buzzed with chatter, the aroma of coffee wrapping around them like a comforting embrace, yet Emma was acutely aware of her family's need for change. Noah entered her mind. Would her brother's silence be broken through this? She glanced at her parents, both of whom wore uncertainty on their faces. She sensed their desire for connection battling with the invisible chains of the past. "Can we talk about Noah?" Emma asked, her voice barely above a whisper. It felt like the most dangerous subject on the table, but it had to be said. "I want to bring him into this conversation. He is part of who I am, and you need to know him too." Her father looked taken aback, and her mother's eyes widened. "That's a big step, Emma. He hasn't been well, he might not." Her mother's voice trailed off, and in her hesitation, Emma felt the weight of their unspoken judgments about Noah. "Noah is still my brother," Emma insisted, her voice gaining strength. "Just because he struggles doesn't mean he is less deserving of love or understanding. We've all made mistakes in this family, but that doesn't make us unworthy." Her dad rubbed the back of his neck, clearly wrestling with emotions. "We don't know how to approach him, we're pressed for time, Emma. Can we really take this on?" "I can help," Emma replied, standing a little straighter now. "This isn't just about you two learning to understand me. It's about all of us learning to support each other. That means Noah too." Tiny flickers of hope ignited between them, but the shadows of doubt loomed large. Her parents exchanged nervous glances again, and Emma wondered if they were as ready to face the truth of their family as she was. "What if we reach out, but he pushes back?" Her mother asked quietly, fear evident in her voice. "Then we take a step back," Emma countered. "He needs to know he is loved no matter how he reacts. It all starts with showing him we care enough to try." Her father's brow furrowed as he processed Emma's commitment to her brother. "You're right, of course. It's just hard to confront everything we've ignored." Emma reached across the table, placing a hand over her father's. It felt like a silent pact forming, a connection they had lost along the way. "We've all been scared, but if we face it together, it might just bring us closer." The patrons around them brushed past in their coffee-fueled worlds, but inside their small bubble, hearts beat a little faster, breaths held in anticipation. Maybe, just maybe, they could navigate this tangled web of emotions where other conversations had failed. Her father nodded slowly, acknowledgement blooming on his face. We're willing to try, Emma. I can't promise it'll be easy. I don't want easy, Emma said, a smile tugging at her lips. I want real. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed in the café, breaking their moment. A barista, flustered, began to clean up the mess. Everyone turned their heads, the sudden energy breaking the heavy moment. But when Emma turned back, her mother had tears in her eyes, glistening with a truth they had returned to find. I'm scared, but I want to understand, her mother admitted, voice trembling. I want to help him too. As their emotions cascaded into a renewed determination, Emma felt a bond tighten, a thread weaving through the fabric of their family. This was just the beginning though. Suddenly, her phone buzzed on the table. Emma picked it up. It was a message from Noah. Hey Emma, can you come home? We need to talk. As panic and hope crashed over her in waves, Emma locked eyes with her parents. Would they hold up, ready to dive into the turbulent waters of truth surrounding Noah? The transformative previous moment felt like a raft, cast adrift into deeper waters. Would they be brave enough to navigate the currents together? Emma's heart raced as she stared at her phone, Noah's message echoing in the quiet corners of her mind. She swallowed hard, uncertainty mingling with a flicker of determination. He wants to talk, she whispered to her parents, her voice laden with urgency. Her mother's hand flew to her mouth, stifling a gasp, while her father's gaze hardened. Should we go? He asked, a mix of hope and fear coloring his tone. Emma felt the gravity of the moment. This was the first step toward brutality and honesty, or perhaps salvation. We have to, Emma declared, her mind racing. We owe it to him. He deserves to know that we care. Before her parents could respond, Emma stood, sliding her phone into her pocket. The café, once a bubble of warmth, faded into the background. Her focus narrowed to one thing, her brother. Okay, let us go, her father said, rising from his seat with an air of resignation mixed with resolve. Her mother followed suit, though her face remained etched with concern. They walked home, the silence around them heavy yet charged. Birds flitted through the trees overhead, oblivious to the storm brewing within her family. Emma's mind churned, recalling the endless nights of waiting for Noah to reach out, the desperate attempts to bridge the distance between them. When they arrived, Emma paused at the door, her hand hovering over the knob. Are we ready for this? She asked, glancing at her parents. Their eyes met, and in that fleeting moment, a wave of understanding passed between them. We'll never know unless we do, her mother whispered, voice shaky yet strong. With a shared nod, they stepped inside. The familiar scent of their home washed over Emma, drawing her gaze to the living room, where Noah usually lounged. But today, an unsettling emptiness lingered. Why did he want us to come back? Her father's voice cracked the stillness, a mixture of hope and dread. Maybe he's finally ready to talk, Emma suggested, her own voice wavering. To let us in. They moved hesitantly through the dim light, each step heavier than the last. Emma's heart thudded in her chest, anticipation clawing at her insides. What would they find? Would it be anger, sadness, or a blend of emotions long denied? Emma found Noah sitting on the edge of the couch, his head bent low. The sight twisted her heart. He looked smaller than she remembered, as if he were carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. Noah, she breathed, stepping closer. Her family formed a hesitant circle around him, a fortress of unity. He looked up, confusion and pain flickering in his eyes. You came, he said, an edge of surprise mingling with relief. I wasn't sure you would. Of course we would, Emma replied, her own voice stronger than she felt. We want to understand, Noah. We're here for you. Noah shifted, a haunted look clouding his features. I didn't know how to reach you. I thought you wouldn't want to see me. Noah, that's not true, Emma said, her heart aching. We're all just trying to find our way back. Can you let us in? A long silence hung in the air, thick with unspoken fears. Emma felt the tremor of anticipation in her veins as she waited. Her parents stepped closer, their expressions softening, mirrors of her own struggle. "I don't know if I can." His voice trembled, uncertainty cascading from him. Emma rested her hand on his arm, the warmth reminding both of them of their bond. "We'll take it slow. But please, don't push us away again." Tension coiled tightly in the air, like a rubber band ready to snap. Noah's eyes flickered over to their parents, and Emma sensed the daunting task ahead. "Please, Noah," their mother said softly, tears pooling at the corners of her eyes. "We love you and we want to help." The room fell silent, breaths mingling with unspoken hopes. Emma's heart raced, wondering what Noah would do next. Would he lock them out one more time or let them step inside the walls he built around himself? Just then, Noah looked up, vulnerability shimmering in his gaze. "I need to tell you everything, but I'm scared." What if Emma leaned in, the weight of the moment pressing upon her? "Then we'll face it together." As his shoulders dropped, tension easing ever so slightly, Emma realized they were on the brink of something monumental if only he could find the courage to share. Would he open the door to his heart this time? The air crackled with anticipation as Noah took a deep breath, raising his eyes to meet hers with a flicker of determination. "All right, let us talk." As those words hung in the air, they set the stage for either healing or deeper pain. Emma's heart raced. Would this conversation finally lay the foundation for a new beginning or expose wounds too raw to heal? Noah took a deep breath, and in that moment, time stood still. Emma's heart pounded in her chest, every beat magnified by the gravity of what was about to unfold. She could see the struggle behind his eyes, the emotions wrestling with the thoughts he surely found hard to voice. I've been through a lot," he started, his voice barely above a whisper. "Things didn't go as I planned. I thought I could handle everything myself," but his words faltered, and he looked down, a shudder running through him. Emma squeezed his arm, grounding both of them. "It's okay. Just take your time." Noah nodded, the tension in the room thickening like fog. "I isolated myself. I convinced myself that everyone would be better off if I just faded away." His voice cracked, revealing the deep cracks of hurt beneath. Her parents shifted slightly, drawn in closer but giving Noah the space he needed. Emma knew they felt his struggle too, the fear and pain echoing in their own hearts. "What do you mean?" Emma asked softly. "You have us. We're here, Noah." He rubbed the back of his neck, a gesture she recognized as a sign of anxiety. "I don't even know where to start. Everything just spiraled. School, friendships, it was like I was drowning, and I didn't know how to ask for help." Emma's heart broke a little more with each word. It was as if she had been watching him from a distance, helplessly witnessing his descent into darkness. "Noah, it's okay to ask for help. It doesn't make you weak." "I thought I could fix it all alone," he admitted, tears glistening at the corners of his eyes. "I didn't want to burden you, or Mom and Dad. I thought you wouldn't understand." "But we do, Noah," her mother interjected, her voice filled with emotion. "We've all felt lost in our lives. You don't have to face this on your own anymore." Noah looked back at her, uncertainty mingling with a flicker of hope. Emma could see the walls he had built slowly beginning to crack. She held her breath, desperate for him to let go of his fears. "What if I told you I'm scared to be back around you guys?" he admitted, his voice shaking. "What if I say the wrong thing? What if I don't even know who I am anymore?" The vulnerability of his confession brought tears to Emma's eyes, raw emotions spilling out as they washed over her. "Then we'll figure it out together, I promise. We want to know you, the real you." Noah stared at her, searching for the conviction in her words. The room grew charged, as if the universe itself was leaning in to listen. The flickering light overhead cast shadows that danced against the walls, mirroring the uncertainty and hope in Noah's heart. "I don't know how to do this," he said finally, his voice steadying. "But I want to try, Emma. I want to be honest." A shiver of excitement coursed through her. Maybe this was the turning point they had all been yearning for. That's all we ask, Noah. Just be you. She glanced at her parents, who nodded, their eyes shining with encouragement. They were all in this together, ready to mend the fractures that had haunted their family for too long. As Noah opened his mouth to speak again, the doorbell rang loudly, breaking the moment. Emma's heart sank. Who could it be now? Stay here, her father said, tension creeping back into his voice. Noah's expression flickered with apprehension, and Emma sensed the shift in the atmosphere. Yes, please stay, Emma insisted, biting her lip. We can come back to this. Noah hesitated for just a moment, but nodded, his eyes filled with a mix of fear and determination. As her father opened the door, Emma felt the weight of following moments pressing down on her. Who or what had come to interrupt their fragile breakthrough? Would they bring chaos or clarity? The door creaked open, and Emma braced herself for whatever lay ahead. Emma held her breath as the door swung open. A late afternoon light spilled into the room, illuminating the outlines of a figure standing on the porch. It was Mr. Thompson, the neighbor from 2 doors down. His face was typically stern, but today, there was something urgent in his eyes. Sorry to interrupt, he said, glancing between Emma, her parents, and Noah. But I think I saw something peculiar. Emma's heart raced. What could be so peculiar that it warranted breaking up what felt like a pivotal moment? She stepped forward, her mind racing. What did you see? She asked, trying to keep her voice steady. It's Billy, Mr. Thompson replied, his voice low. You know, the boy who has been missing for a while now. I think I saw him at the old park by the creek. The news hit Emma like a punch to the gut. Billy had vanished months ago, taken from his family and the neighborhood, leaving an ache that never seemed to fade. A whisper of unwelcome hope swirled inside her. Are you sure? I'm afraid so, Mr. Thompson continued, worry etched into his features. He looked like he was in trouble. I didn't approach him, but it was definitely him. Noah went pale, visibly shaken. Emma could feel his tension radiating off him, mixing strangely with the energy of their earlier conversation like oil and water. What if he needs help? He said, almost to himself, his fingers curling into fists. Then we have to go, Emma urged, her heart urging her into action. We can't wait. But right now? Noah's voice cracked. We just started talking, and what if Noah, she said firmly, meeting his eyes. This is important. Billy needs us. Her words hung in the air for a moment, charged with urgency. Each passing second felt thicker than the last. Her father stepped forward. We'll drive. Let us not waste time. No more hesitation. His voice had that familiar tone which meant they were in this together. Emma felt a ripple of reassurance flow through her. Noah took a deep breath, attempting to summon strength. Emma could see the fight building in him, pushing past the chaos clawing at the edges of his resolve. Okay, let us go. They quickly exchanged glances, the bond they shared solidifying in that charged moment. Together, they were stepping out of the shadows of fear. Emma raced to grab her jacket, her heart wildly flipping inside her chest. As they piled into the car, uncertainty hung like a heavy fog around them. Emma's mind swirled with unasked questions. Would Billy be all right? Would they find him? And what if they found him only to learn he was beyond help? The drive felt unending, time stretching painfully as sights blurred past. Thoughts raced through Emma's mind like a runaway train. The world was full of possibilities, both hopeful and heartbreaking. Emma turned to Noah, who was staring out the window, lost in thought. Noah, we're going to figure this out. I promise. He finally looked at her, the tension in his jaw loosening just a bit. I know, but what if he's not okay? Then we'll be there for him, she responded. No matter what. Just like how we're here for each other. A flicker of resolve lit his eyes. As they neared the park, desperation clawed at Emma, mingling with the hope of finding Billy. She would not let fear win again. They had come so far. "The creek is just ahead," Mr. Thompson said, pointing. Emma felt the collective breath of the car pause, worlds suspended as they approached the clearing. What awaited them? The answer loomed like a shadow, and with every heartbeat, she felt the weight of the moment pushing them forward. What if this changes everything? Noah whispered, needing the strength of her answer. As the sunlight slipped behind the trees, Emma replied, "Then it's a new beginning for all of us." But before they could step from the car, an echoing cry pierced the air, turning their world upside down. What had they stumbled into? The sound of the cry shattered the heavy silence, resonating through the trees, high-pitched, desperate. It sent a shiver down Emma's spine and jolted the others into action. Was it Billy? Every fiber of her being screamed that they needed to hurry. "Get out. We have to go," Emma urged, already opening the car door before Mr. Thompson could react. Noah stumbled with the door, panic surging in his eyes. "Wait, Emma. We don't even know exactly," she cut him off, the urgency of the moment seeping into her veins. "And we'll never know unless we check it out. Come on." With every stride toward the park, Emma's heart pounded like a drum, the echoes of urgency pushing her forward. The once familiar path now felt foreign, shadowed by the weight of unseen dangers. As they crossed into the park, the thick foliage swallowed them. The sunlight seemed to fade, filtering through the trees like a hesitant guest, casting long shadows that twisted on the ground. The air felt tense and electric. "Billy!" Emma called, her voice breaking the silence, ricocheting against the trees. It felt weak, yet vital, a lifeline thrown into the chaos. The shadows danced as they moved deeper, the distant cry now growing softer, barely an echo. Emma turned to Noah, who looked beyond worried. "What if it's too late?" he whispered, fear clawing at his throat. Emma swallowed hard, but her resolve didn't waver. "It can't be." They reached the creek. The sound of rushing water filled their ears as they moved cautiously. The banks lay covered in fallen leaves, shimmering in hues of gold and rust. Emma scanned the area, everything felt suspended, the world awaiting the revelation they had come for. "Listen." Mr. Thompson strained to hear, as if drawn by an invisible thread. Emma's heart raced as she stripped away the layers of doubt. She needed to believe they would find Billy, she needed to believe in hope, but then, she heard it soft but unmistakably familiar. "Emma." A wild surge of relief coursed through her. Someone was here and was calling her name. "Billy?" she yelled, feeling the world constrict with anticipation. "Over here." They rushed toward the sound, Emma's breath catching in her throat. Beyond a cluster of bushes, she spotted a figure small and shaking, huddled against a tree. The sight sent a surge of warmth through her as she pushed past the underbrush. "Billy!" As she came into view, his face looked up, marked by dirt but illuminated by a flicker of hope. The sadness in his eyes tore through Emma like a knife. He was here but looked defeated, lost in the harsh reality of the world. "Emma," he stammered, struggling to steady himself. "How did you get here?" she asked, kneeling before him, the urgency of their moment fading into a poignant softness. "I was scared. I didn't want to go home." Yet his words broke into a whisper, fear twisting his features. Noah crouched beside her, his hand reaching for Billy. "We're here now, buddy. You're safe." "Yes," Emma said, her voice firm but soothing. "We won't let anything happen to you. Not again." But just then, as they began to pull him toward safety, the undergrowth rustled again. Emma's heart dropped into her stomach. What was coming now? Fear rose anew, invading the relief they had just found with Billy. What if there was still a threat hiding in the shadows? What awaited them out there, lurking, unseen? "Stay close," Emma whispered urgently, feeling the tension return. They were in this together now, but the road ahead was still uncertain. Would they truly escape whatever darkness had claimed Billy? Would they all make it home together? And as the sun dipped further behind the trees, casting the world into blue-gray twilight, the eeriness of their situation loomed larger, shrouding them in unanswered questions. What more would they uncover? In the fading light of the park, Emma felt as if time itself had paused. The air was thick with unspoken fears and hopes, but she steadied herself, keeping her eyes fixed on Billy. "We're not leaving you behind again," she said firmly, wrapping a protective arm around him. Billy's eyes widened, a mix of relief and anxiety flooding through him. "I thought you wouldn't come. I thought I was lost." His voice trembled, and Emma felt a heart-wrenching lump swell in her throat. She knew that feeling so well. "You're never lost when you have family," she whispered, glancing over at Noah, who was watching with urgent concern. He reached for Billy's small hand. "Let us get you home, okay?" As they turned to head back, noise rustled in the underbrush once more. Emma felt her heart race, adrenaline surging as shadows danced along the edges of the trees. "Stay close, everyone," she instructed, glancing back at Noah and Mr. Thompson, who stood vigilant, scanning the surroundings. "Emma?" Billy's small voice broke through her thoughts, trembling. He looked up, searching her expression. What if they find me again? What if who finds you?" Noah interjected, trying to shield Billy's eyes from fear. Billy's face twisted into confusion. "The ones who took me." At these words, tension shot through Emma's chest. How could he be so scared? She knelt down to his level, looking directly into his eyes. "Whatever it is, we will face it together." "You're not alone," she assured him. With her heart in her throat, she led them further away from the creek, where shadows lingered like dark secrets. The path felt long, each step echoing with the weight of uncertainty. As they reached the edge of the park, Billy suddenly stopped in his tracks. "I don't want to go home," his voice broke, raw emotion bubbling just beneath the surface. Emma's heart constricted. "You don't have to go home just yet," she promised gently. "But we need to be safe first. Can you take a deep breath for me?" She watched as he tried, taking an unsteady breath, eyes darting nervously. Noah stepped forward, his eyes tender. "What if we go to Brood Awakenings? We can get some hot cocoa together." A small light flickered in Billy's eyes. "I like hot cocoa," he murmured, finding solace in the thought. "Then it's settled," Emma said, taking his hand in hers with confidence. "We can talk, all of us. About everything." A sudden chill pierced the air, and an uneasy feeling settled over them once more. "Let us move quickly," Mr. Thompson urged, keeping an eye on the darkening trees. As they made their way out of the park and back to the café, Emma felt a swell of determination. They were on the brink of something profound. Their family bond was changing, evolving in ways she had never imagined possible. Each step down the sidewalk felt purposeful, every breath a step toward healing. Arriving at Brood Awakenings, the familiar warmth of the café enveloped them. Emma could smell the rich scent of cocoa wafting through the air, inviting and comforting. Yet, she knew the real warmth was in the space they were carving out together, a place where vulnerability could flourish. "2 hot cocoa, please," Emma called out to her coworkers. As they prepared the drinks, she pulled her family close, huddling at a large table. "Okay, let us talk," she said softly, gazing at the faces around her. Noah, Billy, her parents. "I'm sorry, Billy," her father said gently, breaking the silence. "We didn't know you were struggling, or how much you needed us." "I was scared," Billy admitted. "Scared that you wouldn't want me anymore." Tears filled Emma's eyes as she took in the honesty, the rawness of their love and pain unraveling in the open. "Your family. We'll always want you." Noah nodded, his voice steady. "And we'll figure out the tough stuff together, right? Just like we did today." "I want to try," Billy whispered, his newfound courage flickering in his eyes. "I want to be better." In that moment, Emma knew a spark flickered between them, ignited by empathy and understanding. Then let us do this together, she urged, feeling the warmth of hope bloom in her heart like wildflowers after a storm. The first genuine smiles began to appear, brightening the café as their hot chocolates arrived, steam swirling like delicate promises in the air. They lifted their mugs together, sealing their newfound commitment with laughter bubbling over like the froth atop their drinks. As the sunlight began to fade outside, the café turned into a sanctuary, filled with the shared contentment of a family reclaiming their ties. Here, they were no longer defined by their past together, they were forging a path toward renewal, acceptance, and unwavering love. From now on, no secrets, Emma announced, her heart swelling with pride. We face everything together. Outside, the world continued, unaware of the miracle unfolding inside. Brood awakenings, an unbreakable bond being woven between families, stitched with courage, love, and the genuine desire for understanding, and in that embrace of warmth, Emma realized she had not just reclaimed her family. She had rediscovered herself amidst the chaos, a mother, a sister, a friend. All right, she breathed, a radiant smile lighting her face. Let us go and change the world one cup of cocoa at a time. If you felt the power of this story, you need to subscribe now to our channel so you don't miss more exclusive tales that inspire. Leave a like now to help us spread this message and feed the algorithm that keeps these stories coming. And remember to comment below with your thoughts and feelings about this emotional conclusion. Your voice matters. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to experience this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to help us share the love. Only true fans realize the importance of supporting our channel this way. Thank you for being part of this journey.